And speaking of happiness, we have the author of The Science of Happiness with us today, Avanti Kumar. Good morning.
Morning.
Do you have any sappy love songs that you love or makes you happy?
Sappy. I think tends to say I'm not in love. Is a sappier side to think of.
Not in love. All right, now Avanti, thank you for being here with us. You've got this book that you finally managed to compile, even though it's been around, or you've had this...
I've had this course for
so long.
10 years from England.
10 years?
Yeah. And when I used to work for the BBC, we had a problem about switching from the left and the right side of the brain, because we all know that the left side is the editing, brain is the creative side, and people had problems switching from one to the next. So I devised a course which would help people basically choose whether to be creative or be in their editorial mode. Okay. But I discovered it was a strange X factor. When people got the left and right brain in balance, something I call the third brain in the book came out, which was a fountain of inspiration, of creativity, and a side effect called happiness. Because I believe that all people deep down are happy. And it's only life and training that puts up all sorts of barriers and negative thinking. And this course is basically, this little book is a 12-step course on how to strip away those barriers. So you dig down and find your own peace and your own happiness, and then deepen it. So it becomes under your control, which is why this is where the science comes in, because it's under your control. That's right. It says here, The Science of Happiness, a 12-step guide to personal success. It sounds very, because I was skimming through the book. Of course, if one purchases this book, you should read it slowly at your own pace, because there's exercises to do it. But I was skimming through, and there was a lot of usage of words called the inner space science journey that you use. First and foremost, before we go into that, what is happiness to you? What is happiness? Basically, different things to different people, and you can define it as in terms of things, having your desires fulfilled. You can think about in terms of inner joy, which again, usually external things trigger this. When you're growing up, you get wildly happy for no reason, and it's triggered by some friend or some incident or some favorite program. But I'm saying that that's too iffy. And you need to attach a science to it. You need to attach a method to it. And the Science of Happiness is about inside out. So rather than being affected by externals, you start to dig down and affect things around you, relationships, people, problems. And if you're in your right state of happiness, you tend to find things smoothly flow, traffic lights go green, you find parking spots magically.
It's quite apt that you put your first step is it's all in the mind. Yeah. Literally.
Yes, it is. I mean, basically, all psychology, all teaching about the mind says that what you think colors how you see things, how you see people. So basically, you color the universe. And the first step to changing your life is basically just changing your thinking.
So it's basically like the law of attraction, for instance, where you attract good things to happen to you.
That's right.
You were also saying that you have to take risks. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Basically, most people are in a habit. They get up, they go to work, they do things the weekend. It's all external life. And it's a bit of a risk to actually jump inside and say, no, let's take some time out, let's look at me, let's do some little exercises to start finding out about what my dreams are and start to get back on track. It's a risk to jump out of your normal habits. But each step, there's 12 steps in here, each step, there's a kind of hand-holding exercise. It's a self-coaching course, and you're basically in a safe... You've got a safety net with these 12 steps, and there's not really a big risk to it, because at the end of the day, they're simple exercises, and you become happier and happier as you do them.
So speaking of the 12 steps, let's list it down. We have... First and foremost, of course, it's the open secret. Okay,
the open secret, we just talked about a trick to changing your life. It's not a trick, it's an open secret about changing your thinking. And then we go into the left, right, and third brain exercise to uncover that. And then we basically go deeper into opening up the third brain through the remaining steps. And I thought it would be best as a little pocketbook. available at the moment in all major bookstores in Malaysia and Singapore, at a very, very cheap price, because we know about the economy here and so on, and people need all the happiness they can get at this time. So
you can spread the happiness around.
Spread it. If you make yourself happy,
secret.
That's an open secret. And then we talk about success, what your dreams are, where you've gone wrong, and then you basically put yourself back in step. You start planning your life.
I see. So you plan, you have to create, communicate, motivate. And the third step is the third brain that we spoke about earlier. The fourth step we also mentioned, you have to take the risk. There are exercises in this book that one can go through in case you're a little afraid. There's a safety net. And step 5, taking the risk again.
That's right. We go through several jumps inwards. And step 6, 7 and 8 are basically about facing fears that we have, and then realizing that that fear is an energy, which as you look at it with the exercises, it changes into something positive. So we're talking about busting internal blocks. And the strange thing is, as you bust the internal blocks,
that's in step 10.
Things happen in your external life.
Right.
So there's a direct correlation. And as you go through each step, you'll find a growing confidence that what you're doing here is actually affecting things out there. So it's not as magic. It's basically a mind changing your perceptions. And perceptions, as we know, are everything.
Law of attraction. Think of good things. And that's what they always say. It's a culture here in Malaysia for many of us. So it's basically just assimilating it to your way of thinking. Yes. It also says here, ride those waves as well as visualizing what you want. Learn to dream and live to dream.
Yes, because we tend to forget to dream because we're too busy paying bills and all that sort of thing, surviving the downturn. But basically we need to put those aside, go within and do these exercises and allow them to guide us to replanning our life.
Very aptly said. So there is one particular question that I need to ask just before we wrap up this interview is, you know, you were saying you've got to learn to dream and dream big, but do you have to dream realistically, or is that already another blockbuster?
It's a blockbuster. There's an exercise in there where you dream big, and then as you come out of it, you actually put down realistic steps to achieving that. And actually, we're on my website, avantikumar.com, we basically, it's a blog site, so we share ideas. And as people do the exercises, they suggest even better ones, because this is just a starter. And people devise their own techniques, because each person's life is different. And these particular 12 steps are just to kind of kick you.
Just to give you a jump start.
Just to give you a jump start. And then people start sharing their ideas.
AvantiKumar.blogspot.com.
Avanti Kumar, it's one word, avantikumar.com.
Okay, so log on to that to find out more about this. And of course, this pocket-sized companion can be bought at any major bookstore around Malaysia and Singapore, for those Singaporeans who are watching us right now. It's really, really good. It's an easy read, and it's something that you would like to read slowly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck with your next book and your novel.
Thank you very much.